If you ate bread or yogurt for breakfast this morning, you consumed a product produced by microscopic creatures that came billions of years ago. In other words, the invisible basis of human civilization is fermentation.
Fermentation, in its most basic definition, is the process of microorganisms producing energy by breaking down organic molecules in an oxygen-free environment. But this dry definition is not enough to explain how fermentation transformed civilization. The age of fermentation is much older than the existence of humanity. It is thought that the first fermentation reactions were carried out billions of years ago by cells living in the first oxygen-free Earth's atmosphere. The Mayans are the most famous masters of this process. Yeast, a single-celled fungus, produces both carbon dioxide and ethanol by breaking down glucose. These two products are essential for making the bread you eat rise and for various foods such as vinegar and pickles. This is exactly why bread rises. The yeast cells in the dough eat the sugars of the flour, and the carbon dioxide gas released is trapped in the elastic gluten network and swells the dough.
During baking, the alcohol evaporates and the carbon dioxide expands, giving the bread that porous, light texture. So when you eat bread, you actually taste the result of the work of millions of yeast cells. Yogurt, on the other hand, is the product of a different but equally elegant fermentation. Lactic acid bacteria consume the lactose of milk, produce lactic acid, and this acid coagulates the milk, facilitating digestion and extending its shelf life. Lactic acid fermentation has an extremely critical role in human history. In the absence of refrigeration technology, fermented foods were the only way to preserve food without spoiling for months, and this feature made it possible to avoid famines. Sourdough bread, kimchi, pickles, kefir, miso, tempeh, and cheese. These are all fermented foods discovered independently by different cultures and reflect each culture's own microbial ecosystem. This diversity is not a coincidence. Each geography has its own natural microorganisms, its own raw materials, and its own climatic conditions. And these things create their unique fermentation chemistries. In other words, fermentation is actually a cultural mirror.
Humanity's conscious use of fermentation dates back approximately 10,000 years. Bread ovens and vinegar production facilities found in archaeological excavations in Mesopotamia and Egypt prove this.
What's interesting is that these early civilizations made excellent use of fermentation without knowing why it worked. The discovery of yeast and bacteria awaited the invention of the microscope, but the practice of fermentation was gained thousands of years ago. In the 19th century, Louis Pasteur proved that fermentation was carried out by living organisms, and this discovery radically transformed not only the science of fermentation, but also the entire microbiology and medicine. Pasteur's work gave birth to pasteurization, a method of killing harmful microorganisms by applying heat for a certain period of time, saving the lives of millions of people and fundamentally changing the understanding of food safety.
Now let's move on to perhaps the most dramatic application of fermentation, penicillin. In 1928, Alexander Fleming left a petri dish open in his laboratory, and when he returned in the morning, he noticed a strange clear area around the bacterial colony in the dish. This clean area was formed when bacteria were killed by the chemicals secreted by Penicillium, a mold fungus. Fleming realized that this mold produced something, and that this thing could kill bacteria, opening the door to a historical discovery. Penicillin inhibits bacterial cell wall synthesis. As the bacteria multiply, the cell wall weakens, the bacteria swells and bursts. This mechanism is simple, but extremely effective, and is entirely the result of fermentation.
The path from Fleming's discovery to the pure production of penicillin was completed with the work of Florey and Chain. In 1945, these three scientists received the Nobel Prize. Penicillin holds the title of the most life-saving drug to date.
Penicillin also dramatically reduced the death rate of soldiers injured on the front lines in World War II. The vast majority of soldiers who died of infections before the war were saved by this antibiotic, meaning that fermentation actually changed the course of history. Today, the vast majority of antibiotics and many medicinal compounds are produced by microorganisms through fermentation. Insulin, growth hormone, some cancer drugs, and vaccine components are synthesized in fermentation bioreactors.
Now let's talk about the organ with which fermentation is most closely related, the intestine. Trillions of microorganisms live in our intestines, and these microorganisms deeply affect both our digestion and general health through the fermentation they carry out.
Intestinal bacteria ferment plant fibers and produce short-chain fatty acids. These molecules nourish intestinal cells, regulate the immune response, and research shows that these substances also affect brain health. It shows that
this connection between the gut microbiome and the brain is called the gut-brain axis. There is growing evidence that gut microbiome imbalance is associated with mental health problems such as depression and anxiety.
approximately 95% of serotonin is produced in the gut, and this production is directly linked to the health of the gut microbiome. It means that consuming fermented foods feeds the production factory of your happiness hormone. Probiotics, that is, foods and supplements containing live and beneficial microorganisms, are used to support the intestinal microbiome. However, science is still investigating their effectiveness in detail because each human microbiome is unique. Unlike probiotics, prebiotics are not the microorganisms themselves, but their food. Special fiber types in foods such as onions, garlic, and leeks support the growth of beneficial bacteria by feeding them. It is known that antibiotic use disrupts the intestinal microbiome, and that this disruption may take months to heal. Therefore, consumption of fermented food after antibiotic use contributes to the rebalancing of the microbiome. Now, let's talk about the sustainability aspect of fermentation. Fermented foods transform waste nutrients into value. Vegetables that are about to spoil are preserved by fermentation. Their nutritional value is increased and food waste is reduced. In the future, fermentation could radically transform food systems. Lab-grown meat, alternative protein sources, and new generation probiotics are produced in fermentation bioreactors, and this technology seems to feed the world with fewer resources. Fermentation also plays a critical role in biofuel production. Fuels such as ethanol, biobutanol, and biogas are produced through fermentation processes and continue to be among the sustainable alternatives to fossil fuels. Fermentation is also used in wastewater treatment. Bacterial communities break down organic pollutants, transform harmful substances, and purify water. This natural process forms the basis of the most advanced technological systems.
The common denominator of all these applications is a surprisingly simple biochemical process. Glucose is broken down, energy is released, and byproducts save lives, build civilization, and clean the environment.
The fact that God created these small but magnificent microorganisms gains even deeper meaning when the value they add is considered. Small creatures that cannot be seen keep the great civilizations that can be seen alive. Thank you for watching this video. As you cut bread or eat yogurt tonight, remember that that bite contains billions of years of chemical labor of trillions of cells, and that this labor was created for you. See you on our next science journey.